Hey guys, and welcome back to another YouTube video. In this video, I'll be going through my round 7 AFLW fantasy team review, in which I got a score of 2183, which was a round 7 rank of 716th and total points of 10,852, which puts me at a total rank overall of 1578, which is actually a pretty good rank for all the hell that's gone on this year. And yeah, I'm pretty happy with this. Maybe I can somehow push into the top 1,000, give or take, and maybe even a little bit further in than that, but we'll have to just wait and see on that front. But anyway, let's jump into this video here. As you can see, here is the team that I lined up with on for the round. Goldrick, 131 across the 2 games is pretty good. It's still a 65.5 for the 2 games, but I am a little bit worried about her role, so she's one that I'm keeping tabs on the other defenders. Such as Newman, Webster, and Sheeran, but they're all relatively expensive, so it would be tough to get to them, but I'm just sort of waiting that out as there's a potential to grab them up. And also Madigay and Newton as well. They're all sort of in that 900k range, the ones that I want, if I was to change her out. Daisy Darcy, 84 just in the 1 game, so yeah, she did well. She's done her job, 73.8 for the year, and she's been one of the fun ones to, I guess, have, just because her role is, it's a lot, it's actually a really good role considering, or at least she scores really well considering the role, I should say, because she doesn't necessarily get, her tackles are actually really high for her role. And then, yeah, she just does get a lot of disposals through kicks, and that's the way that she scores her points. But yeah, she's been really good the last, at least since round 4, having a 72 plus in every single game. Thomas, 84, she's been very, very up and down, and she's a tough one to watch because she can go through periods where she just doesn't touch the ball when it's up forward, and then suddenly she'll go and just score rapidly. She doesn't rely on marks, which is a good thing as well, just because of the high volume kicks. She's had a 25 kick 1 handball game, 19 kick 5 handball, 18 kick 0 handball games constantly this year. 5 was the most handball she's done in the game. And she's also had, 3 games where she's combined for 2 handballs in total. So yeah, she's done really, really well to get to scores like that, and average in the end 71.5 heading into the final 3 games, which is near enough what she averaged last year. So she's in and around that price range again. Serene Watson, 139 across the 2 games is pretty good. That's almost an average of 40. And yeah, she's just, not an average of 40, almost an average of 70. Mixed up my words there a little bit. And yeah, she's just going along strong, doing what she needs to do, which is really good. And she's near enough that top end of the scorers. And if she can have a good sort of last, 3 weeks, I think that she can pretty much cover what the other scorers are doing. And that is the Newman, Webster, Sheeran that we talked about with the Goldrick substitution there, or the trade, I should say. I think she can basically cover them off for 90 to 100k cheaper than the cheapest ones that are like Webster. Heads, 811k, and she's been really good since we grabbed her up in her double. She's gone 66, 64, 76. That is average of 70, 206 across 3 games. That's an average of about 69, which is really good. 68.7 in the last 3 weeks for the price that we got her at let me just see here. I think we got her at 560, I want to say. Was it 560 or was it 6? No, sorry, it was 660k we got off her. For 660k, we've made 150k out of her just like that. And I don't know what her break even this week is, because it's probably going to be high, given that she's gone 96, 66, 64, 76. So I think it will be higher. But yeah, she's done really, really well, and I'm happy about that. And yeah, really happy. The non-disposal work is really carrying her at the moment. You can see when she doesn't get non-disposals in, she really does struggle, because her disposals are definitely down this year. And so yeah, she's somehow got to a 76 on only 10 touches, which is really good to see, and 11 touches for some 60s as well, which really shows she can score without getting many disposals. And I think she just needs to be put into the back line where she can really do some really score heavily there. I think she can average 75 from the back line, to be honest with you, for the rest of the year for the Swans, especially with them having some tough challenges. I know they've got Brisbane, I think, in the final round. Oliver, that was brilliant. That was a really good trade in after quarter 1. She did die down a little bit, only 15 points in the last 3 quarters, but job done, cashed in, pretty much completed, and now we move her on for someone else, hopefully. We'll have to wait and see about that one to see who we grab in. But yeah, she's done her job, which is good. Marinoff, 662 across 2 games. I think I said 640 from what she was averaging would be also in the 2 games, or did I say maybe 680? I think I said somewhere around that marker would be an absolute ridiculous display in a double, and she basically did that. I think she might have even gone, yeah, you can just see here. I think against, I actually should bring this up against the Marinoff here. Let's go here, and I just want to bring up what was Marinoff averaging to start against those 2 teams. So she played, who did she play again? She played Melbourne and GWS. So if we go to Melbourne and GWS last year, Melbourne, the last time she played against Melbourne, she went 153. And then the last time against GWS, if we go down here, where's GWS? There they are. 126 average, 177 top. She went 174. So she went 174 plus 153 last time out against them. So she went 4 points better, which is like 8 points in total. So we projected at the start of the season, Ebony Marinoff going 654 in a double would be absolute game breaking, and she went 662. So yeah, we're not going to see those numbers again because I don't think they will double game week next year, just because it's depleted the product of AFLW. But I think this will be the highest score we ever see from someone ever, given that it was an average of, what's that, 331, that is 165.5 in each game. So an average of 165.5 doubled, and then doubled again for captaincy. I don't think we'll see anyone get close to that. I think the highest score we'll probably see in the future, if there aren't any doubles, is probably like a 400 or something like that. Maybe if someone just goes on an absolute tear, maybe 390, 380, somewhere around that marker. But we won't see 600s unless there's a double. We won't even see scores, I don't think, in the 400s without a double, because single captaincies don't produce that, either men's or women's. It was just, yeah, ridiculous. She's probably on for near enough perfect votes in the best and fairest. I think there's only probably, out of the 8 games they've played so far, if there's 24 votes available in the 3-2-1 system, she's on at least 22, if not 23 or 24. Because in the game that they lost against Melbourne, only Goldrick might take votes off her. And in the round 1 game, I think, or the round, they lost some other game, I'm pretty sure. I forget which game they might have lost. The Brisbane game, probably. There might have been someone that took votes off her, but I don't even think that might have happened there. So, yeah, she is just in outstanding form. I just want to bring up the Adelaide team in general, the games that they've lost. So they beat GWS. She'll get full votes in that. I suspect she gets potentially full votes in the Melbourne game. Because Goldrick isn't going to steal votes off of her, even though Goldrick got 9 in that 9 coaches' votes in that game. So she's not going to steal votes off of her in that game because Marinoff had 10 more touches, a mark more, and 11 more tackles. I don't think she's going to steal a vote off there. St Kilda, I don't think Smith might take. I don't think Smith is going to take a vote off her, given that Adelaide won. So I don't think she'll get full votes there. Against Brisbane, she might lose a vote to Anderson, but that's probably the only other game realistically, as Anderson had 1 more touch, and I mean she had 1 less goal and a couple less tackles and marks. So I don't think so. So I think Ebony Marinoff could be on for the perfect AFLW season so far. In terms of things, obviously the coach's vote, she'll lose a couple just because they haven't given her full 5s in a couple, but yeah, she's going to be pretty close to the perfect season. Conti, 98, did her job basically, simple as that. She ended up with 27 touches, 1 mark, 5 tackles, 1 goal, 3, so could have been a little bit more accurate and probably would have ended up with a 105, but it is what it is, and averaging basically 100 for the year. Rowbottom has shocked us in the last couple of weeks, actually, honestly. She's gone 93, 94, 126, and everyone thought, okay, that's fine. Then she's gone 79, 77, and come crashing back down. So people that somehow actually got rid of her last week probably would have done the right thing, because she hasn't really done well, but she comes up against Sydney, and I expect her to bounce back. Goering, 97, doing her job. I'm probably just going to be stuck with her for the rest of the season, and this is probably the difference between me and the top line people, is that Goering would be like a Riddell, and Goldsworthy, who we are upgrading this week anyway, it would be someone else even higher than what I'm going to get it into that range. As well as O'Dowd being upgraded is probably the 3 spots that you'll see me burn the most points per week. I'm probably burning about 100 points per week, just because of these 3 spots here, unless Goering and the player that I bring in and O'Dowd start to really ramp it up a little. Then we have Goldsworthy, 137 across the 2 games. This was just a bad buy-in, simple as that. I didn't think she'd go this poorly, but it was sort of just a throw at the dartboard, I guess, and it missed dramatically because she still kicked 2 goals in the games. But yeah, she's just not a girl that gets many disposals, and that's probably not the best for fantasy, to be honest with you, as simple as that. So that was a bad choice, and sort of definitely can be a learning point for next year with AFLW fantasy, is that yeah, these impact players like Goldsworthy, as well as some other like Cynthia Hamilton, Goldsworthy, Malloy, all these sort of, I can't think of anyone else off the top of my head, but though Ponter as well. So that's already 4. There's probably, you could probably name 20 girls, and I probably wouldn't disagree with you about midfielders that are impact players that don't really score that well. So that's sort of, Goldsworthy lands in that bucket at the moment, which is sad because she was definitely really, really good last year, but she seems to be more of an impact player this year. O'Dowd, 124 across the double, 262s was it? Yeah, 262s. It's not the worst, not the best, so it is what it is at the end of the day. She's still in and around the 800k marker, and she's averaging 66 for the year, so definitely the right choice with her over a blank. But yeah, it just sucks that we couldn't capitalise on her to get her up to Strom, who's just dominating the field in the ruck department. Hoare, 177 across the 2 games was really, really good. 83 average for the year. She's been the top forward. Definitely, and yeah, she's just streaking away from the pack, and yeah, 105 for her in the second game of the double. Chelsea Randall, 165, she dominated as well, is up to a 75 for the year, 73 last 3. Just had a disappointing game against GWS and St Kilda, but pocketed it with, sandwiched it with a 105 against Melbourne, where she had 4 marks, 9 tackles, which was really good. O'Sullivan, 39, just couldn't get on the board. Has West Coast, expect her to do better this week. Tripodi, 62, job done against Sydney. Probably could have done more, but it wasn't wet, so she didn't have to get that involved. Has Essendon, expect her to do pretty well this week. Huntington, 31, she's gone. She's just not putting up scores anymore, which is simply just annoying. And yeah. And another learning point, I guess, for the year is just don't go for those sort of players that rely heavily on marks, as they can take as many marks as they want, but if it's wet conditions as well as just a not mark-friendly game, which can happen, then they're basically going to score 30, and that's it. And then you can see my bench has just fallen to pieces in the end. Hartel, 36, and Oliver, 46, carried it, getting some cash in, but Boyle Carr is probably going to be dropped. Well, was dropped for the second game and probably not going to come back in, and she's got no cash gen, as well as Smith and Dersma. So I've got about 80k left to spend outside of the money that I have left over this week, alongside hopeful some cash gen for week 9 and week 10's upgrades. But yeah, that pretty much is the video there, going through my team review for round 7. I'm pretty happy with it for all that's happened this year. If I can salvage, as I said at the top of the video, a rank of around about 1,000 or so, I'll be pretty happy for what's happened. I feel like that that first 5 weeks of just trading into injuries after injury after injury has probably net lost me about 600k on the rest of the teams out there, and that 600k is basically the difference between Goering, Goldsworthy, and O'Dowd going up to Riddell, Garner, and Strom, effectively. As simple as that, because I do have if you do take the cash that I've got at hand this week, then I can tell you that to get up to those girls, it would be about, 320 plus another 170, so that's about 490, plus O'Dowd up to Strom is about 490 in itself, so it would be about 980k more. But as I said, so I'd get 2 out of the 3 upgrades and be hunting for the 3rd one out of that. So it is what it is with that respect. So yeah, it's not the worst, it's not the best, and we're just sort of showing you guys, I guess, what can happen in a season in AFLW and the wrongs and the rights and everything in between. But that is the video there. If you did enjoy it, remember to like and subscribe, and I'll see you guys in the next video, which will be just trade targets anymore, because there's like no cash cow, so it will just be a trade targets video, and then team reveal, and also the tips for round 8 of the AFLW season. So I'll see you guys in those videos. Bye guys.